Once some beetles flew in. Beetles, a large insect, but nobody paid any attention to them. Not even the littlest ones who worked right on tracing their fish hooks, as if that was French too. So in this class there were students of all age. On the roof the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they Germans, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that schoolroom. Because this teacher had given 40 years to this institute. He had taught not to the children, he had taught to the parents of these children also, maybe grandparents of these children also. So obviously he was in some different mental state, and friends could observe that thing. Just imagine, for 40 years he had been there in same place, with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him, just like that, in this way only. Only the desk and benches had been worn smooth. So if there was any change, the only changes were that the desk in the classroom had worn out due to use over the years. Otherwise the position of classroom was same. The walnut trees in the garden were taller. Earlier they used to be small. Now walnut trees in the garden outside had grown taller. The hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the window to the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day, because as it was in the announcement, all the French teachers, they had to leave the place. So they were packing for leaving the city. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, be, bi, bo, boo. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. He was reading. The old man was reading the letters. You could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him. The way he was speaking, that was too funny, but the way he was speaking, that was emotional also. So that we all wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. How well I remember it, that last lesson. All at once the church clock struck 12. So just then the clock at the church struck 12, and it was prayer time. So the prayer, Angelus is a prayer song in church, so that prayer song began. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussian, returning from drill, returning from their practice, sounded under our windows, and M. Hamel stood up. He was very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. At the time, he was looking very tall and very pale. My friends, and he said, my friends, I. But something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he was taking so much power. Might means power. With all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. So Hamel began to speak, but could not continue as he was overpowered by his emotions. So he thought to write. He took a piece of chalk and wrote the words Vive la France, meaning long live France, on the blackboard as large as he could. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, showing that he was in too much pain, and without uttering a word, he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. He didn't speak because he could not speak. Only he showed it. He just made a gesture to all of them with his hand only. So that was the day when Alsace had the last lesson of French.